So this is Unit 3 and Lesson 10 for Math 7, Algebraic Expressions, and this lesson is about writing algebraic expressions, which is super important, because eventually you'll start to write equations, and this is the first step. So the main important thing here that you want to pay attention to and that you want to consider is that the value, or the number of whatever in the problem, this is going to change based on the problem. The value that occurs or that happens more than once gets multiplied by the variable. So when we say multiplied by the variable, we mean that's going to look, let me grab a different color because colors are fun. That's going to look something like, 3x, a number being multiplied by a variable. And again, our variables are just our x and y's and things like that. So let's take a look at this first example and see if we can figure out what pieces are going to get multiplied by what variables. Yeah, good. So example 1. A gaming website charges $1.29 to download a game and a membership fee of $64.99. Write an expression to represent the total cost in dollars to download G number of games. So that's a really important piece here, this G number of games. This is like a let statement here. This is telling me let G equal the number of games. That's exactly what they're saying. So when we're using the variable, first off, they're telling us to use the variable G, so we need to. And it's telling us that when we use G, we're talking about the number of games. And so the reason we're using a variable is because the number of games can vary, right? You can download maybe 1 game, maybe 2 games, maybe 100 games. And the cost of, how much you're going to pay for all that depends on the number of games, which can vary. So the cost is going to vary based on how many games. So let's read through that example 1 again and figure out which one of these pieces is going to get multiplied by G for the number of games. A gaming website charges $1.29 to download a game and a membership fee of $64.99. So right here, when it says $1.29 to download a game, that's like saying per game, for each game. So that means every time I download a game, I'm paying that $1.29. The value that occurs or that happens or that you pay more than once is the one that's getting multiplied by the variable. So that $1.29 is going to get multiplied by that G. So 1.29 G, right, because that's each game, and G is my number of games. And then the membership fee, that's something I'm only paying once. I'm only paying that membership fee. Right, I don't have to pay that membership fee every time I get a game. I only have to pay that once to belong to the group. So that's just something that's only going to get added on. $64.99. And there we go. I have a expression, and it's important the expression shouldn't have an equal sign, but this represents my total cost. So now part B, and this is how these problems are going to go. You're going to write an expression in part A, and then part B is going to ask you to use that expression to do something with it. So what is the cost of the annual membership? So just assuming that it's last a year. If you download 3 games per month, that is kind of tricky there. So we need to know a couple of vocab things. So we need to know that annual means 1 year. And if you download 3 games per month, well, in 1 year, we need to know that there are 12 months. And if you didn't know that, well, easy peasy lemon squeezy, get on your Chromebook if you're not already on it, and get on your phone and check out the calendar, count the months in the calendar. So if I'm downloading 3 games per 1 month, and there's 12 months, that would be 3 games times 12 months to get a total of 3 times 12 is 36 games. Although, that just tells us what our G is, right? That doesn't answer the question. That doesn't tell me how much I'm going to pay for this membership to this gaming website or whatever. So this is just telling me that 36 is equal to G. So now I can use my expression from above. I can use that 1.29G plus 64.99. But now I know that G is equal to 36. So 1.29 in for G, I'm going to put 36. Remembering back from one of our review units back at the beginning that anytime I'm substituting or evaluating a expression with a variable, I need to replace it with parentheses to keep that operation, to keep that multiplication going on between the G and the 1.29. So this is where we need to jump to a calculator, which I do not have. There we go. So 1.29 times 36 gives us 46.44, and then 46.44 plus 64.99 is going to give us $111.43 for the membership and games. Boom. Important here that when we're talking about word problems and we're talking about like specific situations, the cost of something or whatever, that you have an answer sentence explaining that you know what that number means. That it's not just 111.43, it's $111.43, which you guys are very familiar with the answer sentences. So just keep up the good work.